Welcome back to Turf Talk, 2-year-old edition. Ed DeRosa alongside Gary Young at Del Mar talking Breeders' Cup horses. Gary, have any looked as good as the one behind us?
This is what they're all going for, isn't it? This is the version of that trophy is what everyone is going for. There's been a couple of good-looking ones. I don't know if they're quite as proud as that one is there, but, you know, there's been some nice-looking horses out on the track.
Maybe they will be if they get that Garland on Friday or Saturday. Before we get to the 2-year-old races, we actually did have a couple moves today. Sky Diamond and Roy H. Sky Diamond an official workout, Roy H. more of a blowout. Anything from them worth noting?
You know, they're both professional racehorses that I see train all year at Santa Anita. Just doing a really light exercise before the race. I didn't have any knocks on either of them. They both went real slow. I mean, it wasn't, which I'm sure they were intended to do that. So I couldn't really knock them. But you know, that's your easy blowouts that take place nowadays. Not too many 33 and 4s like there used to be in the old days.
Right, and we don't get I mean, as we talked about yesterday, as the workout shift further from race day, we don't actually get a chance to touch on them midweek. So since there were some, wanted to get there before we get to the 2-year-old races. But for me, the Juvenile and Juvenile Fillies, one has maybe the biggest favorite all weekend. Another, to me, could definitely set up for $20, $30, $40 horse, Bolt d'Oro. I came into my flight when it landed. He was my most likely winner of the whole weekend. He looks to me like Uncle Mo did in 2011. What do you make of his chances?
He's a very impressive colt. He's got a very long body on him. When he won the Del Mar Futurity here, you just got the idea that because of his breeding and his body shape and his stride that he would be even more formidable when he went around 2 turns, and that proved to be the case. I mean, that race was over with at the 3/8 pole. What he was beating that day, you know, is still open to question, but that he was a super impressive winner of that race. Everybody that's coming here is coming into his home territory. And, you know, he's obviously the horse to beat, you know, but for people that don't like taking short prices, there's Free Drop Billy.
Yeah, based on what you've seen, I don't know if he's been here at Santa Anita, but or just from
Free Drop Billy's work at Santa Anita was terrific.
Okay.
He was terrific. I would give him probably the most likely upsetter of Bolt d'Oro. You know, he's got a better post than Bolt d'Oro, and he'll be the second choice. Will I fall over in surprise if he beats Bolt d'Oro? No, but on the other side, if you had a gun to your head and you had to pick the winner of the race, you're going to go with Bolt d'Oro.
Now, yesterday you mentioned Dre Fong even saying you would take Baffert winning the sprint over Baffert winning the Classic. Do you have Bolt d'Oro more likely than Dre Fong even, or do you see Dre Fong as still the...
About even, about 50-50,
okay.
about flip a coin about which one I think would be the most likely winner.
Gotcha.
If Dre Fong was drawn a little bit further outside, I might even give him a nod.
That makes sense.
But down inside, if a half step slow on the brake can cost you. He's usually been a good gate horse, and he won the sprint last year from relatively down inside, but whenever you draw inside in a sprint with a speed horse, there's a little bit of worry until they see his head come out of the gate.
Right. Last thing on Bolt, I know you're around 2-year-olds really even before they start racing, 2-year-old sales, etc. You see them develop. There is some concern among people who handicap like I do using numbers that maybe it's too fast too soon. Anything between now and the front runner to indicate he emptied the tank and isn't up to the effort we saw at Santa Anita?
Not particularly. Mr. Reese does not he does not work this horse fast. He didn't work him fast. He did work him in 58 and change for the Del Mar Futurity. His works for the front runner were, as you can see in the paper, they were your generic 101 and changes, and he hasn't altered that method in his works for the Breeders' Cup. You know, you can probably reason out that saying once he has 2-turn experience, or and dominated like he is, there really isn't. You could go with the if something works, don't mess with it type.
Especially it's the last start of the year, I'm sure. So
yes, yeah. And, he's on the brink of an Eclipse Award.
Right.
He won the front runner very impressively off of moderate works, and not necessarily moderate. They were done easy, but they were moderate timed works, and that's what he has for this race also.
All right, well, from an even money favorite to maybe one of the longest favorites of the Breeders' Cup weekend, not even sure who it'll be, but can't think we'll see anything lower than 3-1 in the Juvenile Fillies competitive race. I'm definitely looking bombs away. Anything caught your eye, either A, with the strength of the Chandelier, how the West Coast Fillies shape up, separation of powers, ran very fast last out. Will that catch up to her? I like the Kentucky Fillies myself. What do you think?
I like the filly on the rail of Mark Casse's Heavenly Thought. I liked her. I liked her visually. I thought she was very impressive in her win at Keeneland. She's drawn a very cozy post. Looks like she's just behind the pace type of filly. You know, the local filly Moonshine Memories, you can't knock her, and she's 3 for 3, but it's a pretty glaring separation that her Chandelier was more than 3 seconds slower than both Arrows front runner on the same day, and visually the final quarter of that race was not impressive. You know, she's probably going to be favored in the race, and she very well could win, but as someone that likes to make a wager, I'm probably going to look somewhere else in that race.
All right, when you mentioned one Casse who Leparoux chose, Heavenly Dream, I actually do like Geo Game, though. Giopani, a turf horse, but we've seen with Dreyfong, certainly can handle dirt. He's by tail of the cat, so that seems to be what's come through with this generation. But to me, Geo Game getting on dirt and running as well as she did at 15-1, I'll play her to run back to that number for sure. But Casse looks good for this race.
Yeah, and you'll get a price on her too.
No question.
You will.
All right, well, we have 2 more things to go over. We'll get to those on Thursday, international horses, and of course the big 2 Distaff Classic double. So looking forward to getting your thoughts on that tomorrow.
We'll do so.
All right, thanks, Gary.